you watch Night of the Hunter?
I don't think so.
Because
It was in black and white, so he probably didn't.
Well,
You don't like
true.
it.
He
It was
doesn't
in black and white. I've seen the Alfred Hitchcock movie that's in black and white.
The
he only did one.
He only did one.
You're talking probably Psycho.
Yes, I've seen Psycho.
Ah, yes, come in. Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Hello again, and welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. The year was 1953 when a young cheese film looked out his window one faithful night.
I don't think this is a cult classic because I think it was a hit when it came out.
Was it?
But it's definitely, the remake is definitely a cult classic because that did not do good.
because a lot of these old posters
Yeah.
do a very bad job at telling you what the monster's going to look like. This is the exception.
Yeah,
Because that is exactly what they look like.
It is.
And the remake, I saw the poster for, and they don't even look like any. They're weird
Yeah, they're cool.
goblin monsters.
Yeah.
But this was a big enough movie to get into the Congress film.
The AFI, the film registry.
Last year, to 2024, it got in because of
that
its
different?
cultural significance.
Is that different than that other thing you bring up?
I don't think so. I think that was the same
I
thing.
think that is the thing. Hang on, I've got it written down
The
here.
Criterion Collection?
No, that's very different.
That's what I'm saying. What is that?
That's what is Criterion? It's some kind of company.
Yeah, it's a group of people dedicated to preserving film, and basically you buy one and you get like a film class.
Yeah,
in a
one
movie. Yeah,
in one shot.
All right.
and they give you the movie, and then they give you a lot of bonus
The
features.
bonus feature.
Like I was talking on Head, they had interviews with historians about just the era Head came out, and not even really about the movie, just the people involved with it.
No.
And that's the kind of stuff it's for people who like movies and movie
Yeah, right.
history and stuff.
And
like that.
special
Have an
features.
appreciation for this stuff.
But on a side note, Joey got the Criterion collection of Repo Man last night.
He's like, because it's Blu-ray, he doesn't have a way to play it.
He watched it yesterday. Well, yes, he does. He's got a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, these are his. He's a
Yeah. He likes to watch
tape
him
and
on
DVD guy. I told him I'd trade him for it. He said he's only willing to give it up for my Quentin Tarantino box set or the Steelbook of Reservoir Dogs. I was like, I can't part with
Well, you can't have it yet because I'm going to watch it.
it. This is on my list. I want to watch that movie so bad.
Yeah.
But yes, directed by William Cameron
Menzies.
Menzies. Invaders from Mars struck the stage with its, I would say, kind of parody, or not parody, retelling of Invasion of Body Snatchers.
Kind of is.
Like,
it is this. Well,
kind
they
of
don't.
the same thing.
They don't replace them. They just mind control them.
Yeah. But it's the same kind of premise.
Yeah.
Where your mom's not your mom anymore, your
Right,
dad's not your dad
right.
anymore. Come with
And
us.
they're emotionless or mean.
Yeah. But this movie, funny enough, was rushed to release before War of the Worlds.
Oh, really?
It is the first movie to have aliens and their spaceship shown in color.
Ah.
So this movie is actually the one that gets that credit, not War of the Worlds.
Right.
Because it wanted to beat them out.
You know that at the beginning, when he first sees the UFO, and it's like basically just a light, a green light. The green's very cool, but it's the same exact thing. Looks like that the Brady Bunch did, because the boys were having, like, two of them were making. They had a flashlight with a cutout and make a UFO, and like Bobby's going crazy or whatever. about the UFO, and it looks the same. That's the worst. That's a really bad special effect.
You know, and
The
it's kind of
sand going
funny.
down is really good.
And this was one of the first times that they used that technique.
Yeah, that was a good technique. I know what they did, but
Yeah.
it looks good.
And it's pretty. I mean, because like my initial reaction on this movie was this is kind of. I wasn't
Yeah.
overly impressed with it. I've seen everything it's done kind of better, and I didn't really feel connected with it. I looked into it. This movie was kind of made for kids. This is a.
Yeah, the kid is the protagonist, basically.
It's a kiddie version of Body Snatchers.
Yeah, it's
or
pretty cool.
War of the Worlds. It's to kind of strike a chord, with, kind of like how Goonies is, where it's a
Yeah,
kid
exactly.
in an adult world,
Right.
but in the 50s instead of the 80s.
Yep.
So that was my biggest issue with it, because other than that, like, I think it's pretty
He
good.
does a good job, that kid.
He's a very good kid actor.
Jimmy Hunt.
Is that Jimmy Hunt?
Yeah.
Because he's got top billing on either IMDb or Wikipedia. Where I get the,
He is the main guy.
yeah. But it's also starring Helena Carter, Arthur Franz, Morris Ankrum, Leif Erickson, and
Leif Erickson.
Leif Erickson.
Haley
I saw that. I'm like, Leif Erickson? With the credits?
Viking.
It was like Happy Leif Erickson Day.
Right. Unrelated, I think, but
Yeah.
same name. Written by Richard Blake and is based on a story, or the story by was John Tucker Battle.
Yeah. And he got it from his wife had a dream about
dream.
Martians invading. And he's like, well, tell me all about it.
And he's got the
fleshed it all
story,
out.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. And that's pretty cool.
Yes.
I don't like that the whole movie was a dream.
That is a giant. How did Family Guy put it? It's like, oh, none of that really happened.
Yeah.
So you just spent this entire time.
It meant nothing.
Yeah. And it doesn't question it either.
No.
Unlike a future movie we'll end up talking about that raises the question: is this real? Is this a dream?
Yeah, right.
This movie just
You could do
Spoiler.
that, right? But it's like Who Shot JR, and it doesn't mean anything except that now the Martians are invading at the very end,
Yeah, and we're gonna.
and like he dreamt what
it a
is going to
premonition?
happen. Yeah, that's- But I had a good time watching this movie.
Striking color. I think the color in it's very good.
Very good.
And overall, I think the movie's pretty decent. I don't think it's really a drag because
no.
it's not too long. In fact, in the UK, they had to add a whole scene to pad the runtime because it was too short.
Yeah, it is pretty short.
But it's
Whereas the remake is too long.
oh, it is too long.
Yeah,
Have
it
you
is.
seen the remake?
Yeah. Toby Hooper made the remake.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Do you like the remake?
Yeah.
You do? I might have to check that out.
It's got Jimmy Hunt's in it. he's
he
one of the
dad,
cops.
or is he-
No,
okay.
he's one of the cops. But like Karen Black and Lorraine Newman and Timothy Bottoms, they're the stars of it. And
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty good.
The movie also doesn't spend a lot of time just kind of giving exposition or
No, none.
there didn't feel like a lot of filler here.
yeah.
It did feel like it was a pretty natural, like we're following this kid
Yep.
as the world around him is starting to be
Be invaded.
So
and nobody believes him at first, of course.
it doesn't, like, there's no like, oh, here he is in school now, he's got to be in school, now he's playing on the park with a
Right.
kid. Like, there's no fat. It's very
Yeah, it is. Very clean.
lean, yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that because I was worried that this movie would be a lot of talk and then
Yeah.
the Martians at the end.
Right.
But, I mean, the movie opens with the Martians showing up, and then there is a mystery there with the sand going down and
Yeah.
people, I guess,
Disappearing.
not seeing the sand moving because they're not standing on it.
No.
It disappears first, and I guess they're falling in there or being
Dragged
pulled.
down, yeah.
And I just like, I was expecting it to not be as good.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed.
I think it's if you want to see something from the 50s, this is a good thing to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
Very 50s.
And I see why they're talking about having to be a time capsule, because it does feel like a window to that time.
Definitely. For one example, the nurse believes him.
Yeah.
And then that cop, he's like, no, or his parents, he's like, no, he's going to stay here. He's got signs of polio. That is never going to happen after that because it's gone. You know what I mean?
But yeah, so it was fun to watch how things were back then.
Yeah.
And it feels pretty accurate to it. And that's probably why the National Film Archive really went for it, because there are other movies like that, but this one does a good job at really showing, like, putting you in the kid's shoes.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. The movie, like I brought up earlier, was also viewed as more of a kids movie. They called it a pictorial funny book. And
that's what they used to call comic books, funny books.
Funny books, yeah. So it being a movie, with that in mind, I agree.
Yeah.
That was kind of my takeaway too. Before I even read that, I was like, okay, this is what it is. But this movie also did inspire a lot of other things to come from it.
Yeah.
A lot of big things that I wasn't expecting. The Iron Giant makes references to this movie. I guess.
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I've only seen it once, but
I don't know what exactly they're referencing, but I mean, it's a war machine.
maybe the kid
being the...
and then nobody believe in him. You know what I mean?
And Phantasm by Don...
Phantasm?
I'm going to butcher his last name. Casacarellis? I don't know. Pulls from this movie, too. They're two big movies that took inspiration from this.
I wonder how Phantasm did.
I
don't get that.
You know, I wrote it down there because I thought maybe you would know. It was on Wikipedia on how its cultural impact was.
Right.
You know? So I was like, okay, cool, because maybe something I recognize is here. But I like the Iron Giant. I didn't really get where the references are from, unless it is just a...
And it takes place in the 50s in a small town.
But I haven't seen Phantasm, so I didn't know. But if you've seen Phantasm, maybe you can tell me.
Yeah, put that in the comments because I don't know how that would...
Have you seen it?
I've seen most of it, and I saw it once the whole way through, but like the main bad guy's from a different dimension or something, and it's not really like... it's got young people, a kid and a teenager, but nobody doesn't believe them. You know, like I don't know. I don't know how Phantasm got it. Maybe that guy was just a big fan of Invaders from Mars.
Well, maybe. But yeah, so that's kind of like the cultural significance and its impact. Because other than that, I don't really see anything popping out.
No, like the aliens, the one alien head thing is kind of cool.
Big bulb.
But most of the Martians, they look like the Grinch. You can tell they got a suit on. Like even more than a rubber suit, you could tell they got a suit on.
I was pretty impressed with the fact that Roger Corman didn't have anything to do with this.
Right.
Because these aliens, the green ones, I feel like they ripped right from his storybook or something. You know, like
they're cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap looking.
Yeah,
you know, and they're B-movie. I mean,
totally B-movie stuff.
B-movie thing. You know. Yeah. And if they were like your Monster of the Week thing, I think it would have worked better.
Right.
Because they're creepy looking.
That is one thing I get from this. Is a lot, probably because it's so short. It's a lot like The Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Except you get to see the Martians a little sooner than the big reveal in Outer Limits.
Yeah. I will point out this too. A lot of the times on these old 50s sci-fi movies, you'll see one of the creatures carrying the knocked out girl.
Yeah.
And it never happens. Like Robbie the Robot's carrying her and all this stuff. This
that
one does.
Actually happens.
So I really got to commend it for its advertising because
it's accurate.
I like those over-the-top advertisements where nothing in the movie actually happens.
Yeah.
I think they're fun. But to actually see one that it basically all happens is an appreciation. But this, I feel like, has a lot of commentary on the state of really America in the 1950s.
Yeah, totally.
Because, and really science fiction as a whole, we got the Red Scare going on and McCarthyism. A lot of this stuff can be viewed as, or really is, an allegory for that.
Yeah, lots of times it is.
Yeah, like the enemy within, the next door neighbor, are they really who they say they are?
Yeah.
Everything was fine, and now all of a sudden, invaders
Things
from
are
foreign
different.
land. Yeah. So a lot of this stuff is inspired by and influenced by just the state of the world back in the 50s. A lot of people have cited that the use of science fiction helped both propagate, or when it's propaganda.
Total propaganda.
This is how they do it with
Yeah.
science fiction. They do it with this, and a lot of comic books. They'd have it in there too, and in magazines and in the newspaper and stuff like that. They'd have a lot of, is your neighbor who they say they are?
Right. If you see something, say something.
Yeah, and it's really kind of put a giant blub on history, because it's just fear mongering,
Right.
And it worked. You know, the whole McCarthyism thing worked really, really well
For a while, too.
Even if they weren't who they say they were. You did your part, I guess. But yeah, what were your initial reactions to that?
Well, I thought it was pretty much basically a little longer Outer Limits thing. And it moves along at such a good pace that the reuse shots that they keep using and the stuff, the acting's really good in it. But it's not a slog to get through or anything. And because it's of the time, it's a good movie to watch for like that. Don't think it's going to be terrifying or groundbreaking in any way if you watch it now, but it's worth watching.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is one of those movies that's like so important you have to watch it.
Yeah, right.
Or anything really like that.
And you really don't take anything. Like the War of the Worlds sounds, a lot of that stuff got repurposed. Well, not repurposed, but it inspired other sci-fi sounds and all kinds of sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I don't think was the impetus for a lot of things. Except that somebody liked it, and that one Martian head thing is really the only thing that had any kind of legs.
It kind of reminded me of The Wizard in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, a little bit.
And he had the big bulb.
Yeah.
I think... I don't want to say, because I don't know, this is all speculative, but I kind of want to say that's probably where they got the idea from it.
It could be.
Because
it's also telepathic, so we would have to have a bigger brain to control everything.
And that's how they did that too. Is you couldn't just have you couldn't just be telepathic. You had to have this monster head, or it looked brainy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be that too. That's just how he is.
Yeah.
He's telepathic. Why not? He's kind of squid-like.
He's got tentacles and stuff.
Yeah. And they're alien. They are foreign enough to where I would safely say that they're
that's
alien.
a good alien because it's so totally different, whereas the other guys have 2 arms and 2 legs and a head.
Right.
Eyes.
And like if you compare it with the War of the Worlds alien, I think it fits in that form. I don't think the Martians and Mars Attacks do. I think they're more on the Grinch side.
Yeah.
Where they have 2 arms, 2 heads,
right.
and they look more human than they do alien. Which is kind of cool to, put an evolution of how Martians look. Like in the 50s.
Or that there were even things on Mars.
Well,
there's no life on Mars.
Well, that we know.
Now, it'd have to be underground, like they say.
It's hidden in the ice caps.
But there was, they thought there were canals that were left over from an old civilization. Like, they really thought that. So, until more recently, that kind of stuff was... it's plausible. It could come from Mars. No, they didn't come from Mars.
What else was I going to point out? I'm lost in it. The British version of this DVD comes with, instead of a commentary, which sucked.
Yeah.
it came with the original American release, and it came with the British release. And the British release, the thing they added to it was, I guess this is not seen favorably, but I saw the British version because I knew what it was going to be. And I was like, all right, well, this is what's been put in, so I'll know that.
Right.
And the rest of the movie's the rest of the movie. There's a part in it, and I'm curious to know, did you have a scene where they start explaining the other planets in the solar system?
I don't remember that.
In the British version, that's what they added. They went back and they shot that scene, and they're just like, well, this is Venus, and it has blah, 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 blah.
Is that at the beginning?
No, it's kind of in the middle, right when
Maybe one I did see had that.
the nurse takes the boy to her science friend,
Right.
and then they talk a little bit, and then it cuts. But in this version, it cuts to them walking in this room full of basically it's like a museum.
Yeah,
of
the one I watched
information.
didn't have that in it. I'm thinking of something else.
I don't think it really hurts the film. It's not well liked. I think a lot of people
not?
were like it just slows it down and it's out of place. I wasn't bothered
I would
by
have
it.
no problem with that either.
And I mean, like, they're trying to figure out what is going on.
Right.
So that makes sense that they would go to somebody who's studying astrology and astrophysics to be like, hey, what do you think? And then he's like, well, this is all this other information too. So I don't know. I just didn't think it was as bad as it was made out to be.
Right. That's terrible. That's what people think that.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
It's not anything, and it felt very welcome. If it wasn't in there, you wouldn't know. But if you've seen it and then you take it out, you'll miss it.
Right.
You know, it's not something that's like, oh, well, that could have been cut for time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's in there. What about you, Randy? Did you watch Invaders?
So I've been watching the trailers, and I got some comments on these trailers. One, not a fan of the aliens, like you guys said.
The ones that are walking.
Yeah. I think going back to I've at least seen what the Black Scorpion looks like.
I wouldn't
It
say
seems
it's
like
that bad.
I'm saying like that's good. Like the Scorpion moving is better than this. Their aliens here. The thing in the dome looks cool. I think that is the cool part, and I really like how I'm only basing this off the trailer, but you could tell the dad turns into a different thing.
Yeah.
Because he looks just like more.
Yeah, he's completely
crazy,
different. He's
like-
all happy and like.
He's got like
Yeah,
lead
he's a
to
good
get up
dad
at
in the very
4:00 in the morning to look at a meteor shower or whatever.
Well, he's also
And
a
like-
scientist.
Yeah,
and
and he's
they're
a
sharing it with his
scientist, too.
son.
And then he's got lead stare at the end of it. Like where he's
Yeah.
like, come here.
Yeah, and then
And he
he's
hits
whacks
the
him
kid.
too.
He hits the kid for no reason. So I saw that. I think it's cool. Like, it's cool to put a kid, I guess, as the main
your
character.
focal
Yeah, that is cool.
because you then don't poke a lot of holes in the plot of like, well, they could have just done blank, but like, no, the kid would have been scared if every adult he's going to is like, no, dude, like, you got to go with them now.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the police station where he has to go back to what I assume is his parents,
Yeah.
but they're not.
So because they
there's
get the
that.
mom too.
What's the deal with the pimple breathing in the ground?
The
Well,
pimple.
it's just where the ship is. And
Oh,
it's a
oh.
trap.
Okay.
to get people to go over there,
All right.
so I can
It looks cool.
snatch them.
It looks cool.
Yeah, the
doesn't-
effects in this, whilst they're not the best you've seen them, this is one of those movies that started a lot of the stuff. Like the reverse shots of the sand coming down when they're running through the hallway. They run this way, they do
Yeah.
some of this, then they run this way again. It's
Yeah.
just they keep repeating it. All that bulbous stuff was all balloons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
They taped balloons. And then, like, they're filming it, and they're like, you can definitely tell that that's a balloon. And I kind of kept going over it until it didn't look like a big yellow balloon. I thought that was kind of funny. It felt very low budget
It does seem
B-movie.
low budget. Like the hill is obviously a set.
Yes.
And like they just go to the top and you don't see beyond that.
In
No.
the war zone area.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could kind of
That's
tell
their backyard. It's got a sandy pit.
spotlights.
They call it, it's over there in the sand pit. It's like, why is that there?
Yeah. Why is
Who
that
put
there?
that there?
It looks like it's the beach
Yeah.
and it's not anywhere near any water.
No. I wasn't going to say anything because I was like, you know what, the benefit of the doubt, you take it that way. But, like, I mean, it's very clearly a wall.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very clearly a wall.
I don't know. I don't know why anybody thought of that. And, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's like if a B movie got A movie love.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Because it doesn't, and I'm not really trying to crap on this movie or anything, but, like, you wouldn't look past the Wasp Woman and look at this any differently.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, they just feel very Corman. And
Yeah.
I'm just,
And I think that's part of the fun of this movie.
that it's not?
Yeah, it's a good time to watch.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody goes up on that hill and it's just
Well, look over
nothing
there. They all just keep going.
Not you, audience. Don't you look over there, but you look over there.
Oh, my God. And, like, they find a slipper. It's like, how did that fall off?
Yeah, right.
Like, they don't really explain a lot of it. They just leave it up to the
Yeah,
imagination.
they're like, we need to have something a clue.
right.
Well, his slipper came off. Okay.
Then he comes back. He's like, I'm fine.
Yeah, I said I'm fine. Where's my coffee?
And yeah. And I love also just how barren the police office is. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell it's also a set.
Right.
And they didn't have a lot of time or money. But then instead of like framing it a little tight, it's just this massive void.
Yeah.
That one deputy's behind. And instead of having those two cop pillars that are
Yeah.
in these old movies for some reason, I have never went to a police station and saw them. Maybe they just got rid of them now.
Yeah.
Like the barbershop spirals. They were outside, not just a theme.
Yeah.
There's like, they look stupid. They just look stupid. It looks like you got the wrong size pillars. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could, maybe police stations in the 50s did look like that. Just a blanket void of white wall where you got his office right here, the desk right here, and then a cell back there.
Right.
It's weird.
It is weird. It's like they gave the set designer, here's your money, and he's like, this is what I got.
Yeah. Or like they forgot that they're having to shoot that, so they quickly came up with something.
Right, yeah, it does seem a little like that.
And like this thing, it does give it a little bit of a charm to like watch that.
Yeah, it is. That's what's fun about it.
Yeah. Like it takes me out of the movie to point and laugh at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me out of the movie like, oh my God, I saw the strings on the back of
Right.
King Kong while he's being picked up by the puppeteer up here. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not like that.
No.
It's very otherworldly. And it kind of, like in an alien movie, like it fits.
Yeah.
You know, like this is clearly,
And it's a dream.
it is.
So maybe the kid's putting it together in
Yeah.
his mind,
Yeah.
but you got to really stretch for that. You know?
It feels like it's a capsule itself. Like it's so isolated from the rest of how the world is and
Yeah.
how the world looks that it alone exists in this little bubble.
Right.
It's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is a good takeaway from it because even the town is kind of, it's not townish.
Yeah.
You know, it all feels like a play set.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Like it could it could just be the kid's imagination.
Yep. That's what it is. It's
You
a
know?
dream.
And when you get that reveal at the very end, if you look at it through that way, I think it works better that way.
Yeah.
That way, I know you gotta lend a lot of excuse to it, but if you
That is
do
what
that,
it is,
then I think it works. I think it'll work better that way. Yeah. But that's Invaders from Mars for you.
Yeah. And I think it's worth checking out.
I do too.
And especially if you like the Outer Limits, it's that quality.
Yeah, by no means would I say this is a movie you shouldn't watch, especially
No.
because it's like 89 minutes.
Right. And it's a historical classic.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched the remake?
Yeah.
He has. I have not. I kind of want to, because the poster of it kind of reminds me of like the Critters or the Langoliers.
Yeah, right.
You know, those older.
Yeah. And Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
With that font. And like I said, Toby Hooper directed it. And the special effects, they're 80s special effects.
They are.
But like the Martians and that, you said they're like, I don't have a picture of them or anything, but they're like
goblins.
Yeah, and their knees, they walk backwards from us.
Oh,
and
okay.
the way they did it, the guy's facing backwards and walked backwards.
That's cool.
It is cool. And the main head thing, that thing is in that movie too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. But it's more disgusting looking.
Okay. Would you say that they're malicious, these aliens?
Well, yeah, they want to take over the Earth.
But they're not doing it well.
No, they're not. And why would you just kill the people like War of the Worlds?
Yeah, or
why have
Mars
them
Attacks.
brainwash them or, put the thing in their head to control them? I don't...
I mean,
Well,
they
that's
did
Martian.
that.
That's alien. That's why...
They did that because they didn't have the budget to keep using.
Right. We got 2 furry suits.
Right. You can't have them out there this entire time. Which is, yeah, it's Martian, it's alien. And, like, I guess if you just get a whole bunch of people and start mind controlling them, you're kind of winning.
Yeah.
But at the same time...
Well, that is what they used to do, too. Like, I come and take over your area. Now you're my slaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
But,
the
like, now
Greeks and
what?
stuff like that.
What are these 4 guys going to do now that they've got this whole town under control?
Well, it could be different. We're only seeing this town's.
Does the purple light
they're all
put
over the
people to
place.
sleep?
What?
Does the purple light put people to sleep in this movie?
It is a light that puts people to sleep. They show that with the nurse lady when they're going to put an implant in her. And she's like struggling, and then they flash a light on her, and she goes to sleep.
It seems broken.
Well,
Why wouldn't you just do that? Why do you need to invade at all? You just shine the light.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's going to go to sleep.
well, because they want to... I think they're having a commentary about the time that
that'd
they're
be-
currently in.
I think that'd be
I genuinely
plot.
think that.
Yeah.
Because it's... especially with the 50s Body Snatcher movie. Like, once they've changed their shells of what they
Yeah.
used to be. They're
They're not
still
human.
programming, and then after a while, they can walk and talk and breathe like they were because the copy is done.
Right.
Like the whole transfer. This kind of, again, made me feel like I'm watching a kid's version of that story. Just they never fully go over. They're just always in that limbo of misery.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
Limbo.
Yeah, they're like the limbos, the lobotomized limbos from the back. I do like the way that the back of the neck looked.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It looked gross.
Yeah.
I
In
saw a
the
picture
in the
of the
new one,
remake.
they have it's a thing sticks out and it has a little light on it that twirls. It's a little better.
But yeah, I don't really have anything much else to say about this movie other than it is what it is.
Yeah, and if you want to watch something from the 50s
Yeah.
with all that cliche stuff, this is a good one for it.
I think it's kind of funny that this movie rushed its production to beat War of the Worlds. Because War of the Worlds is the superior movie
Yeah, it is.
for a lot of different reasons. But that's something that still happens today.
Yeah, lots of times.
They will rush a movie to get it
Yeah.
out before the movie they know is going to be better.
Right.
Just so that they can say they were the first ones to do X, Y, or Z.
And to capitalize on all their marketing.
Coming in, yeah.
Because their names are usually the same, too, or have something in it.
Right. So to see that practice not have gone anywhere, that's also pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like this movie should get the love that like Mars Attacks got. Maybe
Yeah.
give it a making of documentary or a
They could remake it again now,
Commentary.
too. It would be just better with more
Yeah.
special effects.
Is this a movie we should remake, or is this a movie we should just let it be the way it is?
It's a good story,
Yeah.
but this movie is fine the way it is.
I think,
and being in that time, especially now, it's so far removed that it's like watching something from the 1800s. You know what I mean? You get that kind of what's that called? The genre movie.
yeah. Because, like, you can substitute, the allegory all you want to. Are Martians scary?
Oh,
anymore?
right, yeah. Yeah.
Because the alien kind of died out. If it ain't alien,
Right.
it ain't, like, there's no, all these people are from Venus.
Yeah.
There's none of that anymore.
No.
There's not really, I think Mars Attacks might have been one of the last Martian movies.
Yeah, and then before that, it was probably Invaders from Mars, the remake,
Probably.
because we already know that they're not coming from Mars.
War of the Worlds, the remake of War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
I guess
right.
they're Martians in that. But, like Doctor Who, only because they're vintage villains.
Yeah,
will bring back the
exactly.
Martians. Everything else are not alien anymore.
Yeah, they could be like, what do you mean Mars? They're coming from Mars. You know what I mean? We know there's no people there. Well, I guess we were wrong. You
Right.
could spin it that way. Yeah, you could make that Martians.
Because, like, and recently we've gotten, like, Bird Box. Mm-hmm. And I think those are supposed to be aliens in that.
I thought they were supposed to be aliens, yeah.
But they could also just be, like, dimensional creatures.
Yeah,
I
they
think
could
that's
be.
where we've gone.
yeah,
Demons and dimensional beings.
the Quiet Place things are aliens, though.
They are. Yeah, okay. So and they don't have an origin, they're
No.
just kind of alien.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it instead of being a direct, yeah, because they were coming from Russia, coming
Right,
from Mars.
yeah.
The red planet, the red flag.
Yeah.
Well, now
Red
they're coming
Menace.
from anywhere.
Yeah.
They're just alien.
Could
So
be
maybe.
anybody. Yeah.
Maybe that is a good kind of way to treat that, because I kind of miss just an alien invasion movie.
You could also make Invaders from Mars now, call it Invaders from Mars, and set it in the 50s and have, instead of it being communism versus,
Capitalism.
Americanism, the present versus the past. You know what I mean?
You could
and
do
how
that.
things are different now and
Yeah.
whatever. Making fun of it. It'd have to be comedy, like tongue in cheek.
Get like a Steve Martin person behind
Sure,
it,
she could do it.
somebody who's not just a slapstick comedian, somebody
Right.
who can be both goofy and
Right, like
serious
Bill
at the same
Murray.
time.
Like the Ghostbusters gang.
Yeah, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
Those kind of people.
Yeah. I think they can do that.
That's what I would do.
What about you, Randy? You think you're gonna check this one out?
Yeah, nah. I'm gonna be honest, no. This one seems like I definitely wouldn't like it.
This one, yeah, I don't know.
It's got an aesthetic I don't like already.
An old
Just
movie.
like looking at it, I'm like,
Right.
all right. The kid, I was like, he has no eyebrows, so I don't even care about you.
Did you watch Night of the Hunter?
I don't think so.
Because
It's in black and white, so he probably didn't.
Well,
You
that's
don't like
true.
it.
He
It was
doesn't
in
like
black
black
and
and
white. I've seen the Alfred Hitchcock movie that's in black and white.
The
he only did one.
He only did one.
You're talking probably Psycho.
Yes, I've seen Psycho. Which Psycho's good. I like Psycho.
Yeah, it is good.
It is good.
There's a lot of movies that are shot in black and white that are good. A lot of Hitchcock movies.
Most Hitchcock movies.
Don't spoil it for me.
That's something we should do too. Just
Some black and white.
no, just like some Hitchcock appreciation.
Yeah.
And not do like Psycho, the ones people I'll talk about.
Right.
Yeah, not
Do
the ones that
like
I've seen.
The Lady Vanishes or Notorious, stuff like that. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be really fun.
I've seen Look Through the Window or whatever.
Rear Window
Is that what it is?
Yes.
with Jimmy
Through
Stewart.
the
He's got his broken leg.
Yeah, where his legs
That's what
are
he's
broken.
doing the entire
Yeah,
movie. He's
just
looking through a window. And that's such a good thriller. I didn't like it when I first saw it because I was like, oh,
Really?
come on.
Kind of boring. You're
But-
kind of as bored as he is in the
Oh,
apartment.
you know what? Rope. Rope is my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movie.
I don't think I've seen Rope.
And there's another one. That's what you said. The Lady Vanishes. Rope would
Well-
be another good one to do.
Now we know what we have for an episode.
Yeah.
Do a Hitchcock appreciation episode.
Yeah.
But when I rewatched Rear Window, I started liking Rear Window once it started picking up. You know, because then you really get into it. He's like, oh, he's coming.
Yeah.
And then you rewatch it, and I'm like, yeah, and you feel it more. You get that build up more, the sense of just like lonely isolation, and then it gets like, oh, hang on.
He did kill her.
There is a movie. What is the name of this movie? Where I think we might have even talked about this. Where you got the bomb in the trunk of the car, and it's all one take.
Taste of Evil.
Taste of Evil, and Hitchcock talks about that.
Yeah.
And how it builds suspense and all that kind of stuff. And like once the camera finally gets to its toppest point,
Yeah.
there it goes. The
That's
bomb goes
cool.
off.
You know, I have the exact opposite for Vertigo.
You think
The
that's
more
more-
I see it, the less I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Vertigo a lot. But I also got on a Jimmy Stewart kick.
Yeah.
That's probably what
He's
helped
good.
out a lot.
He's good in
very
that, too.
And I love that shot.
Which one?
The Vertigo shot.
Where he's at the end?
Where the subject is still in the frame, but the background.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you do love that.
I like that shot.
Well, every like little short film I make, I try to put
I
that
try to throw that in too. That's kind of crazy.
And then once you learn how to do it, it's fun to do.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg loves it too.
Yeah.
But back to Invaders from Mars, I would give it a thumb up.
I give it a thumbs up because it's fun.
It is fun. And again, like I know I've said a lot of negative about it, but I did enjoy watching it. I did. It's not my favorite movie, but it's definitely something I would watch again.
Yeah, I'd watch it
It's
again,
not
too.
something I'm like, oh god.
And,
this.
Just to look at how things were back then.
Yeah.
Because
It's
do
a
everything
good
you take it for
capsule.
granted. It's a lot of fun.
And it's kind of funny that this movie would be one of the ones they take in because it's not one that's stood the test of time, really.
No, I don't think
it's
so.
kind of gotten forgotten.
Totally.
But it's neat to see them appreciate it.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
And I mean, I've got the DVD. It looked great on my TV, despite the fact that I can tell what's a set and what's not.
Right.
It still looked good.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
wasn't something that like you can tell had that upscaling film and
Right.
things got stretched too much because you went from this aspect ratio to that
To a
aspect
different one,
ratio. So it did look
Yeah.
good, and I'm happy I got it for the 50th anniversary special edition. I wish you had more bonus features. than
Yeah.
just another version of the movie. Literally, I will read this to you. Special features include U.S. and alternate British versions of the film, a brand new digital transfer, the trailer, still gallery, and an illustrated collector's booklet.
That's cool.
And that didn't even have it.
Oh, man.
Check it out.
Invaders from Mars.
Invaders
Check it
from
out.
Mars. I don't know if
Hold it up.
Can you take
Yeah.
camera 3 because they've got some looks like concept art in the back here, and like even that looks really good. Like it's
Yeah, I like
It's
that Ralph
fun.
McQuarrie style looking.
I do too. The good old fashioned sci-fi classic looking. It feels good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's definitely one that you get what you're getting.
Yeah.
You're not sold up the river without a paddle.
No.
But yeah, check it out.
Definitely
Tell us what
check
you
it out.
think. If you're a fan of this movie, I'm friends with a guy who loves this movie. This is one of his favorite movies. This and Fantastic
Put his address
Planet.
in social right now on screen, Ben.
Right
What'd
here.
you say?
You want me to dox him? He's actually the person who suggested I watch this movie, and I was thinking, okay, yeah. Well, I also want to talk about War of the Worlds. You know what? Let's do a whole Mars Invades
Yeah,
month.
right.
And that's what we've been doing. So appreciate your fellow friends who give you these suggestions.
For
because-
March, which is the month of Mars.
Yeah. Our first one airs. It did air a couple weeks ago. At the time of filming this, War of the
Right.
Worlds is airing. So check that episode out and stay tuned because more fun is on the way. By the time you have seen this, we have went to war with Mars. Mars attacked again. They invaded once more. And coming up next time is going to be something special. We colonized them.
Right.
That's right. I'm not even going to say the name of the movie. I'm just going to leave it there. Leave it at a mystery. I did pepper in a teaser earlier about the dream.
Yep.
That comes into play too. So check it out next week. Check it out now. Leave us a like, a comment, a share. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think and
That's right.
if you agree with us, because that's all this is. It's a conversation.
Yep.
Join the conversation.
And Jack Nicholson did write a song in Head.
We do our research. We do
We
that.
do. And we read the comments and we enjoy this stuff.
We do. But check us out. We are on Facebook, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Audible. Anywhere you can listen to anything, you can find us there. I really do want to get those numbers up on Apple. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And we have a following there. So you guys, you few, I'm
You
appreciative. You Appleheads. I appreciate it. Spotify, too. You keep it up. We're on YouTube. Our video is here. Our video is on Spotify. If you'd like to check us out anywhere else, we are also on the grindhousepodcast.com, where you can find an exclusive link to our merch.
Our exclusive merch.
And that is right. You can have it for yourself for low prices of...
Yes.
Bring
some of the Grindhouse podcast home.
Yes. Bring it home to you. But... I have been Cheese Film.
And I am Hecky Bess.
And I'm Randy Official.
And this has been
the Grindhouse Podcast.
Very
Cheese
good.
Film. Out.